Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I'll be talking about a report that said the Commanders may be very aggressive on the defensive side of the ball in free agency and or via trade, and I'll also be talking about a potential trade target at receiver for the Commanders this offseason. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so ESPN reporters Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler put out an article this morning. Right now, both of them are down in New Orleans, and they've been talking to league executives, team officials, team executives, all of those people around the NFL, trying to soak up as much information as they can to kind of figure out what teams are going to do this offseason when it comes to free agency, the draft, or in the trade market. And they talked about a couple of teams in this article. Pretty sure they talked about the Niners. Want to say they talked about the Titans as well. And they also talked about the Commanders. And you see the headline right here. It says, "Are the Commanders going all in?" Dan Graziano, he states here, quote, "Expect the Commanders to be aggressive this offseason in pursuing roster upgrades on defense. Much like the Texans last year after C.J. Stroud's dazzling rookie season, Washington believes it has something special in quarterback Jayden Daniels and wants to maximize his rookie contract window. Getting to the NFC Championship game in Daniels' first year only makes Washington more likely to get aggressive for someone like Garrett if and when Cleveland decides to move on from him." So that makes a ton of sense right there, right? Jayden, obviously incredible this season, won Rookie of the Year. Congratulations to him. We already knew he was going to win Rookie of the Year. I knew that it was pretty much solidified after the Eagles game in Week 16, because before then, kind of getting a little close, because he did have that 3-game losing streak, obviously, and Bo Nix, he was on like a 3 or 4 game win streak, and he was balling out during that win streak, right? So kind of closed the gap a little bit, but after the Eagles game, it was pretty much solidified that JD was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, right? So no surprises there. Once again, congratulations to Jayden Daniels. But yeah, it makes sense that we want to maximize his rookie deal, right? Because in 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to have to pay Jayden, and he's going to take up a good chunk of your cap space, right? So in order to build a team around him, you're going to have to build a team around him this year, because you will be able to afford everyone you want to bring in. You will be able to afford the roster you want to build around Jayden. So it makes a whole ton of sense that we want to maximize Jayden's contract, and that's what the Texans did with C.J. Stroud last year, like Graziano stated in this article section, talking about us, of course, right? The Texans, they traded for Joe Mixon last year. They signed Danielle Hunter. They traded for Stephon Diggs and re-signed him to a 1-year deal, right? So that's what they did, because they could do it, because C.J. Stroud obviously still on his rookie deal, and they won't have to pay him for another year or two, right? So they had that flexibility to build a good roster around him, which they did exactly that. And I expect Adam Peters and this front office to do the same exact thing as well. And it sounds like they really want to attack building up this defensive roster, and I completely agree with that. We need a game changer on the edge. We just need a really freaking good edge rusher. Someone who can not only get to the quarterback, right, is a really good pass rusher, but someone who is also great at setting the edge and stopping the run. Last year, Dante Fowler Jr., or this past season, Dante Fowler Jr., he was great for us when it came to rushing on situational downs, like third downs or obvious pass situations. However, he just wasn't good at all at setting the edge. Dorrance Armstrong, he showed flashes at times this season. He had a couple nice games, and he was really good in the playoffs. However, he wasn't great at setting the edge either, right? So we had guys that could get to the quarterback, but not guys that could set the edge or stop the run very well. So we got to get a guy that can do that, and there's a couple of guys available that can do that. Khalil Mack, although he's 34, he still can get to the quarterback, and he's pretty solid at stopping the run. Pretty sure he actually was like graded top 3 by PFF this past season when it came to run stopping among D ends, right? So he could still stop the run very effectively. So that's a guy I could definitely see us going after this offseason. He's obviously not your long-term fix at edge rusher because he's 34. However, getting him for a year would definitely fix your edge rusher problem when it comes to stopping the run for a year, right? You also have Myles Garrett, of course, who Graziano said right here, if he's made available, we are going to pursue him. And I expect Adam Peters to at least pick up the phone, make a couple offers to the Browns. That's if. This is all if Myles Garrett becomes available by the Browns because he wants out. However, the Browns still have yet to make him available. And Graziano said in this article actually that teams that have called the Browns do not expect the Browns to make him available anytime soon. So we'll see if they do so. But if they do make Myles Garrett available, then I expect Adam Peters and the front office to heavily pursue him because he's a guy that could change our defense in a massive way. And by the way, him and Joe Wood Jr., they got ties together. Joe Wood Jr. was the Browns' pass game coordinator or defensive pass game coordinator back in 2019. So he has some ties to Myles Garrett. So maybe, Myles Garrett may really want to play here. And why wouldn't he, right? Like, we went 12-5 this past season, made the NFC Championship game, have a great young quarterback in Jaden Daniels, who's only going to get better and better, and is already a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. So why wouldn't he want to come here? But still, it's good to have kind of that connection with Myles Garrett on our team already, right? So that's that. And I fully agree with us, building this defense. Once again, need an edge rusher, need another cornerback. There's going to be a lot of cornerbacks available in free agency this offseason. You have DJ Reed, who's really good for the Jets, Charvarius Ward, who has the connection with Adam Peters and has been great with the Niners in his 3 years there. Wasn't the best this past season, but I know he was going through a lot of stuff off the field, so that may have affected his play a little bit. But the year before and the year before that, in 2022 and 2023, he was outstanding with the Niners. So that's definitely a guy I could see us be interested in. So that's basically what Graziano had to say about us in this article. He expects us to pursue defense in free agency or via the trade market in a very big way. Now let's talk about a wide receiver that is on the trade market, and that is Cooper Kupp. So as y'all know, at this point, it was announced maybe like 4 to 5 days ago that the Rams will be trading Cooper Kupp this offseason. They'll be working with him to try and get a trade done, and they're going to be moving on from him this offseason. And there's going to be a couple of suitors for Cooper Kupp. Now, before I start, I just want to say I don't really want Cooper Kupp, and that is really for 2 or 3 main reasons. Number one, he's 32 years old. He's only going to get older. I want to get younger at receiver. At number 2, it's money. He has a $20 million cap hit this season, and I want to say like a $19 million cap hit in 2026. So that's a lot of money. That is a pretty hefty cap hit for a guy that is 32 years old and is only going to get older and older. Well, he's 31, but he'll be 32 by the time the season starts. So that's a lot of money for a guy that's just going to continue aging. So I'm not sure if I want to pay that. And number 3, injuries and his production has fallen off quite a bit. So injuries really the main thing. After 2021, that magical 2021 season for him, where he played in every single game that season, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. 2022, he played 9 games. In 2023, he played 12 games. And in 2024, he played 12 games as well. So he hasn't played a full 17-game season since 2021. So that's a concern right there. That's definitely a concern with me right there. Will he be able to stay healthy? I am not sure. And you're going to be paying him all that money, and he's 32 years old by the time the season starts, right? So am I really willing to pay an injury-prone wide receiver all that money who is aging? I don't know if I would do that. I definitely don't know. But what would it take to trade for a guy like Cooper Kupp? And let me get to this report. Jerry Fowler, he said that there will be a couple of teams that will be interested in Cooper Kupp. They'll be calling for Cooper Kupp, and the Commanders could be one of those teams. They could look to pair Terry McLaurin with a receiver like Cooper Kupp, and they could view him as a receiver that still, has some juice left in the tank and could be a very solid receiver 2 option to Terry McLaurin. So what would I give up for Cooper Kupp? Nothing more than a 5th round pick. All right, the Rams, they just want to get something for Cooper Kupp. If they were to cut him, don't they think they would save a whole lot of money and would have to eat up a good amount of dead cap? Now, hey, if we're trading for Cooper Kupp, I'm going to need the Rams to eat up some of that salary because he's getting paid way too much money, and I just don't know if I'm willing to take on that full salary for Cooper Kupp. Going back to what I trade for Cooper Kupp, though, max a 5th round pick, maybe a 4th, but most likely a 5th round pick because, once again, he is an aging receiver, expensive contract, injuries, and the Rams, they just want something for Cooper Kupp rather than just cutting him. So I think they'd be fine with getting a 5th or a 6th round pick for him. Maybe a 4th round pick once again, but a team would probably just trade a 5th or a 6th rounder for Cooper Kupp, which is what I'd trade for Cooper Kupp personally. So, you know, if they're fine with taking on some of Cooper Kupp's salary for the rest of his deal in 2025 and 2026, and they're just asking for a 5th or 6th round pick, then I wouldn't oppose trading for Cooper Kupp. However, he's far from my number 1 option at receiver this offseason. But let me know what you guys think about Cooper Kupp in the comment section down below. Would you trade for him or would you not trade for him? And if you would trade for him, then what would you give up to get Cooper Kupp? So that's it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're not already subbed up. Getting super close to 5,000 subscribers. So if you could, hit that sub button. I'd really appreciate it. And other than that, it's been King Sean and I'm out. Peace.